I'm gonna get the tablet out for this one because this is a very, very long name and I'm about to mess it up. So on this episode, we're about to review Birds of Prey. All right, check that out, okay? And the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn. Why is the name so long? Why is the name so long for a movie that is actually a Harley Quinn movie?
What?
We could have just done Harley Quinn in the sometime appearing Birds of Prey, or Harley Quinn in the emergence of the Birds of Prey, or Harley Quinn in Help from the Birds of Prey. That's probably a better movie, or Harley Quinn in the creation of the Birds of Prey. There we go, setting up that sequel. Put the sequel set up in the title so people know that this is a prequel to a sequel that's also a sequel to another movie that was the prequel of Suicide Squad that sets up this movie, but then this movie sets up the Birds of Prey movie, the real Birds of Prey movie, and there we go.
Jesus Christ.
But instead, we call this movie Birds of Prey. So if you see this movie expecting to see the Birds of Prey like Huntress, Black Canary, you're gonna be disappointed because you're not gonna see Huntress and Black Canary. You're gonna see them, but you're not gonna see them. Like, you're not gonna be like, oh, I was with Huntress the whole ride. No, you'll be like, oh, there's Huntress at the very end. Is that Ramona? Neat. But this movie is really Harley Quinn's movie. This is Harley Quinn's movie. Margaret Robbie's movie. Wow, Lee. Can't mess her name up. You've seen her in so many movies by now. But yeah, this is Margaret Robbie's movie. This is Harley Quinn's movie. And you know what? It was fine. It was okay. I enjoyed myself. It was a little long. Not really. It's like an hour and 49 minutes, but the pacing of it made it feel longer. Like, I didn't need to stop and start. It's like I'm about to do right now, because we're going to talk about this episode on the movie breakdowns, Harley Quinn, and Birds of Prey, or just Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of the One Harley Quinn, starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What's up, world? Welcome to another episode of Movie Breakdowns. I'm your host, Ali Zakka. What's up, world? Welcome to another episode of Movie Breakdowns. I'm your host, Ali Zakka. What's Movie Breakdowns? Movie review series. We look at new and old movies, give them a grade, A through F, plus and minus through the count. And if there's a movie you want me to review, let me know. Please put in the comments below, and I get to it as best I can. And on this episode, Movie Breakdowns, before I hop into that, I do want to let you know I have Patreon. Patreon/Ali Zakka. And on Patreon, shout out to Tyler Phoenix, my Patreon member, and a few others. You can hop in front of everybody. So there's a review you want me to do, let me know on Patreon. I get to it immediately because you're paying for my services. And on top of that, I have extra content like trade reaction, trade reviews, and much more stuff. Now, let's go ahead and get in today's episode of Movie Breakdowns for real. Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of the One Harley Quinn. And this movie came from the year 2020. I am going to throw some spoilers in here, so you haven't seen this movie, go watch it and come back. Also, it's rated R. What? Because I was watching this movie, I was like, I saw the R rating at first, and I was like, this movie's rated R? Really? Okay, let's see what happens. And as far as gore, there's not really much of that. Cussing, it got a few cuss words in it. The action sequences, yeah, okay. Seeing somebody get their leg broken in like 4 different places on the same leg, that was brutal. But as far as rated R, I don't think it needed to be rated R, but it's cool. I think it just gave them more freedom to do whatever they want. As far as this movie goes, and the title is definitely misleading. It's not a Birds of Prey movie. It's definitely a Harley Quinn's movie, and it's about her movie of her dealing with the loss of being broken up by Joker and her finally becoming free of that toxic relationship, her finally getting out from underneath Joker's thumb in a sense, and her having closure. But when she finally tells the world that she is done with the Joker, it actually causes a lot of people who she was on their hit list, with lack of a better term, hit list, to come after her. And when they try to come after her, she decided to make a bet with a guy to find this diamond that this pickpocketer decided to swallow. So this movie becomes a whole giant poop joke, and it's in a way where they have to get this diamond through this girl's intestines so that Harley Quinn could be alive and get throughout the day. But along the way, she create a bond with this girl, and that happens probably 40 minutes into the movie. Maybe a little later. Maybe an hour into the movie. When exactly does that point happen? Because majority of this movie is more like a flashback. It's her explaining what happens and then taking back on a flashback. And then her explaining what happens again, then taking back on a flashback. Then you see this cool action scene where it makes me wonder that Harley Quinn really learned martial arts, because she's kicking her way through this police office, kicking people's butt left and right with this kind of cool beanbag gun and a paint gun. But she's kicking people's butt left and right. And then it goes back to another flashback on how she got to this point. And for the most part, this movie is fine. It's cool, very colorful, like artwork wise, like art details. You're somebody a fan of art and just colors, you're gonna love this movie, and the designs and colors and costume work on this. You're gonna love this movie. As far as character development, besides Harley Quinn, nobody else you're gonna care about. Maybe Renee Montoya, the cop, but nobody else you're really gonna care about. Black Canary? Huntress? I wish. But yeah, not very much of you care about. Now you do have to pay attention to this movie. I will give you that, because there's different hints and tips. I keep saying hints and tips. But it's not really hints and tips. I don't know what the word is. Easter eggs? I don't know what it is. But a lot of, you tip your hat to something, you see little things that happen, you're like, oh, probably should, like a Chekhov's gun maybe, but you see it and then it pops back later in the movie. There's a scene where like characters pop up in other people's flashbacks, and then they, you're watching them out the whole movie, or a character pop up in a flashback and then they show up at the end of the movie that you're like, oh, that made sense. Or, oh, okay, that's the guy that she tipped, like she made mad earlier, or this person here. So I do give the movie like props for doing that, but at the same time, the flashbacks really slow this movie down as far as pacing, and there's certain points where you just want the movie to happen. Like, I didn't need a flashback for the Huntress on her being there, but yet we got it for her, and then we got another flashback on why she was doing what she was doing. And I was like, well, I guess we didn't need a flashback. She'd be like, okay, this guy was on my list, he's on my list, he's on my list, and there we go. Versus, let's take a moment to take her drawing as a kid and Xing out people on that list. Like, okay, cool. The action set pieces was cool, except for the final conclusion of it. Like inside the clown house, or the bounce house, or the clown maze, whatever you want to call it. Inside the clown house, I felt like it was all over the place, kind of discombobulated, and maybe the movie wanted to do that because Harley Quinn is kind of crazy, so it gave you like this discombobulated feel. But I didn't know where I was in relation to other characters when it came to the fight scene. Like, I didn't know this person's over here or this right next to each other, because we was all over the place. And I don't know, sure there's a lesson learned for this movie. Like, as far as like the characters, it's just like, yeah, this is Harley Quinn's world and we're just living in it. And it was cool. Like, I do like her aspect of her like overcoming her grief from her relationship. Like, for her showing that she was actually free, she had to blow something up, be like, this is it. This is the moment of me saying I'm over the Joker and I'm getting out. And I do appreciate that. Like watching, WandaVision before this, and now watching Harley Quinn and seeing how two different characters deal with grief. One try to hide it in her memories and just shut the world off and just relive like TV shows that she watched with Vision, and her dealing with her grief. I do like that was kind of cool. And then Harley Quinn's version of her, like, I gotta blow up everything. This is my closure to ending my relationship with the Joker, and now I'm getting from beneath that thumb and doing my own thing. I like the two different versions of how people handle their differences with relationships. That was kind of cool in a sense of seeing Harley Quinn like, I'm having normal just like everybody else. I have feeling just like everybody else, and this is me getting closure from this. But then like the birds of prey aspect of the movie is just like, we really don't care. Okay, sure. And we do have a big bad in this movie. The big bad is the Black Mask, who's played by Ian McGregor, who is Obi-Wan Kenobi.
It's over, Anakin! I have the high ground!
In this movie, he did not have the high ground, and this is why he lost. He was on the flat ground with Harley Quinn, not the high ground. He didn't have the ability. He lost. It was game over for him. But anyway, as far as his motivation, he won the diamond. That was it. And yeah, that was it. He's just a big bad to have people go after. And also Zaz, who the only character I'd recognize from the comic book, I read the Dark Knight Broken Bat series, where Zaz was one of the guys that Batman had to beat in the comic book. And it was just kind of neat seeing characters from Gotham in this movie. So I do appreciate that it wasn't random characters. It was actually characters from Batman and Gotham's lore tossed into this movie. And yeah, it was fine. Also, I do like how the movie plays on the Suicide Squad movie. So like, this is the same Harley Quinn from that movie. And it talks about the loss of that movie and like how she fell in love with him and all that stuff. So I do like how the movie interwrapped the world into this, so you know you're still within that same universe. That's pretty cool. Props to that. But as far as a movie, it's fine. It's fine. It's not the best movie in the world. It's not the worst movie in the world. You're not gonna be like, oh my gosh. We also be like, it's fine. It's a fine movie. Pacing's kind of off, but it's cool. Let's talk about box office here. I definitely want to see that. So, the box office on this movie budget was $84 million. A little higher, but $84 million. And it grossed worldwide $201 million. So it did good. Like United States, it almost in just the United States and Canada alone, it almost grossed as much as the budget. It was $84,500,000 for a budget, and it made $84,158,000 as far as the United States and Canada alone, and the rest of the world it doubled that. And the writers and directors of this movie are directors Kathy Yan, and then writers Christina Hudson, Paul Dini, who created Harley Quinn, Bruce Timm, who also created Harley Quinn, but Christina Hudson and Kathy Yan, the director and writers of it. It's cool. I just wasn't like the flashback. I didn't mind the fourth wall breaking. It reminds me of Deadpool in that sense, but Harley Quinn can do that. I feel like she's just as crazy and spontaneous as Deadpool. So that worked for me. As far as cast, Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn, great job, phenomenal, great. Everything about Harley Quinn, Margot Robbie brings to life. She's perfect for the character. Rosie Perez, who played Renee Montoya, thought she was solid. Another character I personally got into, thought she was good for what she was. Mary Elizabeth Winstead, who plays Helena, who was the Huntress. Or Helena, not Helena, but Helena, who was the Huntress. Fine for the 5 minutes after you feel like we get with her. Most of the time she just, shows up, takes out people, dips out. And then she finally, joins in the end of it, and she's like, oh, I guess I'm here to fight with you guys. Janae Smollett, who plays Black Canary, she was cool. She gets drugged into the world, and then at the end of it, she's like, yeah, I guess I'll join you guys as well. Ian McGregor as Roman, who's a Black Mask. Just a big bad, nothing really much. It's cool seeing Ian McGregor in a movie that's not Star Wars. Ella J. Bosco, who plays Cassandra Cain. So she's the girl who eats the diamond that everybody's after. She doesn't really learn her lesson by being a pickpocketer. She just doing things because she wants to do them, and when she eats the diamond, everybody else is out to get her, and Harley Quinn got to make her, poop it out. And pretty much that's it. She is Batgirl, the blind Batgirl in the comic books, but she's not that in this movie. She's pretty much far from that character at all, just the namesake for that character. And she was cool. She was fine. Then Chris Messina, who plays Victor Zsasz, another bad guy that I just recognized from the comic books, but he was fine. That's pretty much it when it comes to these characters. Harley Quinn is the character though. She's the one that makes the movie. Everybody else is just there because they don't give character development to promote to anybody else. Like, you get a little backstory, but as far as growth with them, you're just like, okay, cool. One's a singer, one's a assassin, and one's a police officer, and they really don't play on them until the end where they're like, oh yeah, I guess we're all stuck in this together, Harley, let's join you to get out. But other than that, fine. Black Canary uses her voice at the very end of the movie. That's like, oh, it's a Black Canary, but other than that, fine. Huntress shows up. And that's why I feel like this movie is a setup for a new movie, an actual Birds of Prey movie where those three characters, you get to meet them. But we'll see what happens in the future. But as far as this movie, it should have just been called Harley Quinn and the introduction of the Birds of Prey. There you go. There you go. Because this is a Harley Quinn movie about her loss with the Joker and her loss, like her relationship ending with the Joker. And then when she finally gets over that relationship, everybody's like out to get her, and she gets brought into this kid ate a diamond. I gotta go rescue this kid so my life gets saved. Like, that's it. That's pretty much it. Pretty much it. Any other last thoughts about this movie? Action scenes was pretty cool. Like I said, it's a colorful movie. The sign, like, color of the movie is awesome. Is this a Friday night movie? Not really. You could watch with your friends and family, but like, it's one of those movies where you can and you don't have to. Like, I don't think ever be fully invested in this movie, especially with the start and stop of the storyline where they, like, the storyline is going and they're like, wait a minute, let me tell you how I got here. And then he comes back to, alright, so Ali was out in his car. He got in his car and he went to his parents' place and he came back and he sat down in his chair and started a review, and now he's doing a review. That's how this movie did some of the stuff in Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn's like, let me tell you how I got here. A week ago, all this stuff happens, and then this happens, and now, like, we're here at the police station because I end up talking to the guy. Also, this is why this person's on the toilet, and you're like, wait a minute. This person's on the toilet. Why does that matter? Like, it was all those things mixing into this where I was just like, I got lost at one point. It's like, didn't these events happen just a moment ago? Or this event happened now in the present, and that's how we ended up here? Or maybe we was actually there and we walked around to come back here, but we should be over here. And the reason why I'm like talking like this because that's how the movie does it. The reason why my opener of this video is like this because the movie is spontaneous and all over the place. Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? I don't know. You tell me. So if you're watching with your friends and family, it's probably a good discussion to have about that. I'm just like, it could be a Friday night movie. It could not be a Friday night movie. Grading time. I'm going to grade Harley Quinn. Sorry. Let me rephrase that. I'm going to grade Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of the one Harley Quinn a C. This movie gets a C grade for me. It's one of those movies where you're like, it's not the greatest, it's not the worst, it's okay. It's a Harley Quinn's movie. Everybody else doesn't matter. Bad guy's not really fleshed out. The side character's not really fleshed out. But that's fine, because I came here for Harley Quinn. I knew I was getting to by watching the trailer, because it's a Harley Quinn movie. Why did they name it Harley Quinn? I don't know. Could be a sequel or a prequel to another movie. Probably so. But sure, it's a C. You'll be okay with this movie. The main storyline doesn't really happen until halfway through, but you'll be okay with it. The flashbacks start and stop the movie, so the pace is a little bit off. Storyline could be stronger, but it's fine. It's not the worst. It's not the best. A solid C. If you guys seen Harley Quinn, if you guys seen Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of the one Harley Quinn, what did you guys think? Please put in the comments below. Other than that, see you guys in the next episode of Movie Breakdowns, and keep being awesome. Thank you guys for watching this episode. I really appreciate it. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. Also, you want to see what else I'm doing in my normal life and other things that's going on, please follow me on Instagram at Ali_Zakka. I'll put it right here around my face. Yep, right there. Also, if you want more episodes of movie breakdowns or grind towards success or whatever it is I'm doing on YouTube, you know what? Follow my page right here, like I said before, the little comment thing right there, And then you can watch the last episode of Movie Breakdowns right here, and watch the last episode of Grind Towards Success right there. Other than that, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate y'all. See y'all next time. Keep being awesome.